Leading Educators is a nonprofit organization that is focused heavily on creating great schools for all students by focusing on teacher leadership development. We started off in New Orleans in 2009 and quickly grew to Kansas City, then DC, and then Memphis, and have continued to grow to new cities beyond those. The need in the education sector is so great that we often feel like we can never do enough. We can never work long enough hours to actually do what needs to be done for students. And it leads to a culture, if we're not careful, where people are working all the time and ultimately burning out.
Last August in 2015, I was 7 months pregnant, and throughout my pregnancy, I had actually insomnia, and a peak work time for myself, interestingly enough, was about 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Technology is great because it allows us to communicate constantly, and email is a great platform for that. But the rub is when people are emailing outside of regular work hours. It was creating this sense of urgency or this guilty feeling from staff members.
And one that actually led to a question of like, is the expectation that we are working 24 hours a day? And so even before we found Boomerang, we had decided as a group that we were going to refrain from emailing one another between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. the next day.
Boomerang for Outlook empowers users to have a great work-life balance, and Leading Educators has done a great thing to set up that culture inside of their company. Boomerang for Outlook does a few things. It allows you to schedule emails to send the following morning or the next weekday morning so that your recipient will receive it at the time that you want, the optimal time, rather than when you're writing it. The cool thing is that your computer doesn't have to be on and you don't have to be connected to the internet for that message to send. It'll do it automatically. It's all done in the cloud with Boomerang.
Another feature that I use of Boomerang that I think is critically important is the follow-up feature. So a lot of times in my role, I may send out contracts to people that we're working with, and this will remind me if someone hasn't done it, if I haven't received a follow-up.
With Boomerang for Outlook, we give you a smart calendar feature that allows you to suggest some times that you're available to meet for the meeting. They can click one of those times on any email platform, and the meeting will be booked with Boomerang on both of your calendars. So it takes the painful back and forth out of scheduling meetings.
My personal experience with Boomerang is actually phenomenal and incredibly helpful. So now here I am on the other side of my pregnancy. I have a 7.5-month-old, and I'm able to adjust some of my work hours so that I can pick him up and be with my son during his awake time. And then when I put him to bed, then I'm able to have a productive work time between 8 to 10 p.m.
And so that's what gets us really excited about Boomerang for Outlook, is the potential that it has to save millions of people around the world a whole bunch of time.
We are dedicated to making sure that our staff can lead full lives in addition to this really important work that they do every day. And so that when we found a tool that actually allowed us to live that norm, we said this is something we got to do.